When we here at Eurogamer first played Donkey Kong Bananza at the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, we enjoyed it, but were nevertheless left vaguely apprehensive. The core destruction mechanic was fun, but was that it? Is it all just smashing stuff up? Well, recently we had a deeper hands-on with the game, and this gave us an answer, and that answer was no. And also yes, but mostly no. Nintendo typically obfuscates the identity of the developers of a game, telling us all to wait until we see credits roll to find out who is making something. But this time it seemingly has realised that the developer's identity is a marketing boon rather than a potential pitfall. So at the preview they casually mentioned that, oh yeah, the development team of Donkey Kong Bananza is the same as for Super Mario Odyssey. So, there you have it. With that knowledge in hand, we can better understand Bananza. It's the same game design concepts, and in some cases wholesale the same systems, but applied to Donkey Kong. The team clearly took a step back and thought about the character though. What is unique about Donkey Kong? They zeroed in on strength, which naturally leads to the mechanic where you can pick up almost any piece of the world and hurl it at enemies, or smash your way through the side of a mountain to see what is on the other side. There's mechanical complexity to this, of course. The world of Donkey Kong Bananza is made up of various materials, and this becomes a key consideration in how you use them. Sand is malleable, for instance, so throwing sand sticks to the surface it's thrown against, and you can throw handful after handful of the stuff, sticking it together to craft makeshift bridges or platforms. Gold shatters into collectible currency when smashed. Metal is a material too hard for DK to shatter with his bare hands, but that also makes it a more powerful weapon when you find a piece to heft in a rock-paper-scissors style interplay, and so on. The young version of Pauline that was recently revealed as DK's sidekick for this game also has a few abilities of her own. She's a singer, and her dulcet tones can be used to unseal areas and undo nefarious magic.
Let's do this!
Mostly, however, she's a cheerleader and companion, chattily narrating gameplay in a way that is sure to delight some and infuriate others. With Pauline not that mechanically rich, it's left to transformations to change the pace of gameplay. DK can transform into other forms. At preview we saw an ostrich that can flutter and half fly from a height, and a beefed up DK that can obliterate even harder materials and enemies. There's also a full skill tree with a suite of upgrades to DK, from making him more resilient to outright unlocking all new moves. But really, moment to moment, you're constantly smashing, with the variety coming in the things you find and in the clever things you can do with that destructive power. Most impressive was how the destruction persists. Rather than discrete stages, as in Odyssey, Bananza feels like one interconnected world, though it's all about verticality. You're digging deeper into the depths of Ingot Isles, and the promise is you'll be digging right to the core of the planet. Levels are denoted a number to indicate what layer you're on, and this means that these layers are levels in a literal sense. As you dig through the layers, a surprising world is revealed beneath. It's not all mines, but a variety of biomes. There are beaches, lush jungles, more traditional mines, and even a poison swamp. This means, as long as you stay within the same biome, more or less anything you smash up will stay destroyed until you either leave that layer entirely or use the pause menu's handy reset terrain button, a must in a game where you could very easily punch your way into an impossible situation. The persistence of destruction is most useful, however, as it allows you to approach many challenges in wildly unorthodox ways. This is the Odyssey energy in a sense. Banandium gems are everywhere, just as Odyssey's moons were. Some may simply be buried below the surface, waiting for you to dig your way towards them. Others might be in the hands of an NPC, or be locked behind a specific task. It's up to you to collect them however you want, and whenever you want. Just wander, meander, and see what you can see. There's obviously a prescribed and intended way to get each, but many can be obtained in a variety of ways by utilising DK's brute strength and a little bit of unconventional thinking. There's a great joy in seeing a banana off in the distance and then working out how you're going to reach it by using any of the available resources and mechanics. Another similarity is that the main thrust of the game's narrative seems to be quite breezy. You can probably get enough Banandium gems to progress just by exploring each zone. Hidden away within each area, however, are harder challenges. Once comfortable with the game's mechanics, it is possible to tear through some story-critical bosses in about 30 seconds apiece, but on the flip side, you can expect to toil for 10 minutes or so on a fiendishly difficult optional side challenge for just one extra Banandium gem. Basically, completionists will find plenty to do. There is one thing that sets this adventure apart from that of DK's overall clad rival though, and that's a nebulous thing to describe. Is it energy? Vibe? The point is, it's clear that the Nintendo developers in Japan have paid an enormous amount of attention to the entirety of Donkey Kong's history, and the result is a Nintendo Japan game that has a rare energy. And that's in both senses of the word rare. It's uncommon, but it's also distinctly rare with a capital R. There are NPCs made up of usually inanimate objects with googly eyes grafted on. Though there's no concept of lives, a balloon pickup gives DK protection from a single fall into a bottomless pit. Arrangements of David Wise and Grant Kirkhope's music are plentiful. Some 2D stages deliberately harken back to the country games of Rare and Retro, including a lovingly crafted Bramble Blast tribute with the same visuals and soundtrack, and there's even a Rare-style cheekiness to bits of the English language localization, though it doesn't quite have that British charm. More than anything, there's a general feeling that this game is a marriage of Odyssey's triumphs, with all of DK's history, including the games not made by Nintendo Japan, which will be hugely appealing to older fans. But with it comes pitfalls too. The destruction combines with general level design to create a different sort of rare feeling, one that is both for good and for ill. Two of the levels played were reminiscent of Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64 at their best, for instance, but one had airs of one of those over-complicated levels from Banjo-Tooie that thought they were too clever by half. The levels can shift not just through destruction, but through your actions, draining water into a reservoir to create new paths, or investigating the smouldering crater where a boss once stood after it has been defeated. So that complexity is not binary, but something more nuanced. Call this preview cautiously optimistic then, but that previously mentioned concern about whether the destruction would grow tiresome over the course of a full game has at least been eased. There's much to do here with a good amount of variety, and the 3 hours we had with the game absolutely flew by, even if we did spend most of it doing a lot of the same wrecking ball actions repeatedly. Time flying is always a surefire sign of something that's good, so this formula might just be a winner.
A banana!
Want to boost your game collection and get a great selection of titles every month? Well, now you can with Humble Choice. Every month you get a hand-picked mix of awesome PC games, and this month's lineup is now live. Running through to August the 5th, you can grab Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, Demon Ex Machina, Death's Door, Cat Quest 3, and much more. Whether you're building your backlog or discovering something new, now is the perfect time to pick up these fan favourites. And don't forget that every purchase helps a good cause, with this month's Humble Choice membership supporting Covenant House. Get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just £8.99 a month. Skip a month or cancel any time and know that 5% of your membership goes to charity. So if you love discovering great games and doing a little good while you're at it, check out Humble Choice today.